Football is a naturally violent game, but every once in a while, what happens on and off the field moves fans to tears. In today's video, we take a look at 5 of the most emotional moments in NFL history, from inspiring moments that fans will remember for decades to some of the saddest days in league history. Number 1. Sean Taylor's death. Coming out of the University of Miami, Sean Taylor was tabbed as one of the NFL's fastest rising stars. He was drafted 5th overall by the Washington Commanders in 2004 and quickly developed a reputation for being an extremely athletic safety and one of the hardest hitters in the game. The rest of the league was soon put on notice as he was voted to the 2006 Pro Bowl. Tragically, a year later, Sean Taylor's life would be cut short. On December 26, 2007, while at home with his fiancée and their young daughter, Taylor was shot in the leg by an intruder during a robbery gone horribly wrong. The robbery was originally planned when one of the men involved, Jason Mitchell, attended a birthday party for Taylor's half-sister, Sasha Johnson. At the party, Taylor gave Johnson a purse with $10,000 in it. This motivated Mitchell and some other men to plan the robbery. Each man thought they would walk away with as much as $40,000 apiece. But on the day of the robbery, the 5 men who had planned to rob Taylor didn't know he would be home. The Commanders had a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that week, and they thought he would be away, but Taylor was actually home with his family while he was recovering from a knee injury. When the break-in occurred, Taylor heard the commotion, the attempted robbery in his home, and went to investigate. Unfortunately, he stalled the gunman, 17-year-old Eric Riviera Jr., and was shot in the leg. The bullet severed a major artery and caused massive blood loss, which led to his death a day later at Jackson Memorial Hospital. He was only 24 years old. 7 years later, in 2014, Eric Riviera Jr. was convicted of Taylor's murder and sentenced to over 57 years in prison. The other men involved received stiff prison sentences as well. After his death, there was an outpouring of grief and love for Taylor from the league, fans, and around the world. All 32 NFL teams held a moment of silence before Week 13 games during the 2007 NFL season. And every player in the league wore a black decal on the back of their helmets with Taylor's number 21. Taylor's locker was encased in plexiglass, and a trust fund was set up to care for his daughter, Jackie. Taylor's number was also retired by the team in 2021, making him just the 3rd player in Washington history to receive the honor. And a road to FedEx Field was named for him as well. Sean Taylor's death was one of the saddest moments in NFL history for so many reasons. Not only was a young man cut down in the prime of his life and ripped away from a loving family, but Sean Taylor left behind so much unrealized potential. Could he have been a constant Pro Bowler? Could he have won a Super Bowl ring? Could he have reached the pinnacle of the sport by earning a gold jacket and a bronze bust in the Hall of Fame? Sadly, we'll never know. While Sean Taylor's death leaves so many questions, more so than answers, the next emotional moment on this list is no doubt one of the most inspiring moments in NFL history. Many players dig deep and face adversity on their way to football glory, but Brett Favre showed exactly what he was capable of when he decided to play through tragedy on December 22, 2003. Number 2. Brett Favre plays for his dad. Everyone handles losing a loved one differently. Some of us would want to be surrounded by our closest friends. Others might want to be left alone in their grief. But for Hall of Fame quarterback Brett Favre, he just wanted to play football. And play he did. He left everything out on the field when it mattered the most. The day after his father, Irv, died of a heart attack, Brett Favre put on a show for the ages, going 22-30 for 399 yards and 4 touchdowns as part of a 41-7 Packers win over the Raiders on Monday Night Football. As if his stat lines wasn't incredible enough, all 4 touchdowns came in the first half. Brett Favre's arm was a cannon. He had pinpoint accuracy, and his receivers seemed to catch just about everything thrown their way. It didn't matter where he threw the ball, his wideouts seemed to come down with it, even in double and triple coverage. The Packers were in a tight race for the playoffs as well. Being a team fighting for their playoff lives is hard enough, but beating a fired-up, inspired, and emotional team rallying around their leader after a personal loss like that, Oakland didn't stand a chance. Green Bay was on a mission to win for Irv, and the Packers got the job done. Favre even won over Raiders fans, who applauded him with a standing ovation after the game. Along with his performance on the field, what Favre said in the postgame will live on in NFL history forever. "I knew that my dad would have wanted me to play," Favre said. "I love him so much and I love this game. It meant a great deal to me, to my dad, to my family, and I didn't expect this kind of performance, but I knew he was watching tonight. While the best game in Brett Favre's career was played in honor of his father and will always be remembered in NFL lore, the next emotional moment on this list is immortalized as an example of selflessness for its everyday people. Number 3, Walter Payton's selflessness. Few running backs make an impact on the game the way Walter Payton did. During his career with the Chicago Bears, Payton rushed for nearly 17,000 yards and 110 touchdowns. He may have been nicknamed Sweetness, but he was every defensive player's worst nightmare. Walter Payton was an absolute bruiser, punishing every defender who dared to go toe-to-toe against him. Even though he certainly earned his ferocious reputation as a rock-solid running back and deserves to be mentioned as one of the greatest players in NFL history, Walter Payton is perhaps most well-known and loved for all he did off the field. Shortly after his retirement, he founded the Walter Payton Foundation, which originally helped needy children in Chicago, but now helps everyone in the Windy City who may be struggling and down on their luck. But Walter Payton's greatest example of living a selfless life came when he was losing his battle with a terminal liver disease. Doctors told Payton that it was impossible for him to be saved with a liver transplant, as his disease was in an advanced stage. But instead of living in fear, he tirelessly advocated for organ donations for the last few months of his life, until his death on November 1st, 1999, at the age of just 46 years old. While we often idolize our sports heroes, not many have left a legacy like Walter Payton. His football achievements are indeed outstanding, but even when he was dying, he was thinking of other people instead of himself. It's this selflessness that has also led the NFL to rename their Community Service Award to the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award. Number 4, Pat McAfee's surprise for a military family. It's always an emotional occasion when a soldier returns home from duty to spend time with their family, but the surprise that former Colts punter Pat McAfee helped to deliver in 2013 made this particular homecoming extra special. The NFL honors those who have served every Veterans Day weekend, but McAfee went the extra mile to help the Eno family welcome home Sergeant Jeremy Eno, who served with the Army in Afghanistan. Early in the week, the Eno family's only car had broken down. That's tough, especially when you're a military wife trying to keep your family operating while your husband is away serving. So what did McAfee do when he heard the news? He bought the Eno family a brand new Toyota Highlander to help replace their broken down car. The family was ecstatic. However, little did they know that in the backseat of that new Highlander was none other than Jeremy himself, who had returned from his tour of duty a week earlier to see his family. As soon as Colts mascot Blue opened the door, over 60,000 people in attendance at Lucas Oil Stadium roared as the Eno family embraced in the end zone. Everyone who serves in the military deserves the utmost respects and thanks, and Pat McAfee made sure the welcome home for Sergeant Eno was one that neither he nor his family would ever forget. Number 5, Damar Hamlin's injury. The last emotional NFL moment on this list is also the most recent, but it reminded us that while we all love the game of football, at the end of the day, some things are much more important. Bills cornerback Damar Hamlin's heart stopped during a game between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals on January 2nd, 2023. The injury Hamlin suffered, known as a commotio cordis, is when a person's heart stops suddenly, mid-beat, due to a sudden hit or impact. The injury is extremely rare, but it is also almost certainly fatal if a person's heart is not restarted within 3 minutes. 97% of cases prove fatal if a person cannot be revived quickly within that time frame. The injury itself was a freak accident. After Hamlin tackled Bengals wideout T. Higgins on what seemed to be a routine play, he got up and instantly collapsed back to the ground, and medical professionals rushed out to help revive him. While EMTs, first responders, and paramedics all worked feverishly to help Hamlin, thousands of people at the game and millions watching at home around the world prayed for his safety. It seemed like time slowed down or came to a complete stop. The game did not matter. All that mattered was that Hamlin survived this ordeal. Fortunately for Hamlin, the paramedics managed to restart his heart, and he was taken to the nearest hospital in Cincinnati. As Hamlin made his recovery, players from both the Bills and the Bengals offered their support to him, with Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen simply tweeting, "Please pray for our brother." All 32 teams stood in solidarity with Damar Hamlin as well, as they each changed their Twitter profile to a picture of Hamlin's number 3, in a simple request to pray for Damar. Once Hamlin made a full recovery from his ordeal, He made a guest appearance at Super Bowl 57 and was accompanied by both Bills and University of Cincinnati medical professionals who had taken care of him. Damar Hamlin's situation showed what truly is important in life, how important medical professionals are, and what can happen when we all work towards a greater good. This may have been one of the most emotional moments in NFL history, but it transcended football and touched the very core of what makes all of us a fan, our humanity. While professional football players are usually fiery, passionate people, every once in a great while, moments like these come along and touch us in a deeper way than the game itself ever could.